Have you ever wondered who the most confident, secure version of you is? Have you ever wondered what it truly feels like to be truly confident and truly secure from within? Today, we're going to talk about how to become so secure in who you are and so confident. And here's the thing about security. The more secure you are, the less parts come in. So like I said on previous videos, I'm Katie. When I'm Katie, I'm calm, I'm confident, I have clarity, I can walk through, I can do anything. There's just ease, there's flow, there's no resistance, there's nothing. The minute a part comes in, so let's say that you struggle with anxiety, you have an anxiety part of you come in, a control part of you come in, an avoidant part of you come in, a people-pleasing part, a worrying part. As soon as those parts of you come in and take over, you are out of security and you are in a part. So the more parts that we can rewire, the more parts of you that we can quieten down, the more you can stay in self, so in Katie and self, the more secure you are. Now, the more secure you are, the more true you are to who you actually are. So before all these limiting beliefs became part of you when you were younger, before you took on the worry, before you took on the role of a people pleaser, before you took on all these roles of anxious and all this rubbish, you were secure, yeah? The more secure you are, the more attractive you are, because think about it. Humans chase security. From an evolutionary standpoint, we chase things that feel secure, that feel safe. So if you're being a people pleaser, other humans can sense that you aren't truly secure in who you are because you're in a part, you're not in who you are. Imagine if someone who was looking after you was constantly worrying. Would you naturally feel safe with them? But imagine if they were calm and they were confident, would you feel even safer with them? Yes, you would. So the more that we can stay in calm, confident, in control, clarity, all of these things that bring us back into self, the more secure we are, the more attractive we are, the more you can just walk around and just literally attract. And I'm not even joking. Now, what we want to do is we want to almost shed that old version of you. So if you call yourself the anxious person, if you call yourself the people pleaser, if you give yourself all these labels, have you ever wondered who you would be without that label? Without that old part pulling you back, who would you be? How would you walk? How would you show up? How would you act? Who would that person be? Think about it. If you could remove that one thing that was holding you back, if you could remove the fear of failure and you could have true confidence, if you could remove the worrier and you could truly be calm and not worry all the time, if you could truly be secure in being vulnerable and opening up and not being an avoidant, how secure would you be in yourself? So I had a client who came to me and he was very anxious and he experienced feelings of anxiety when he was younger. And when you experience anxiety, you start to just believe that that's who you are. So you place a label on yourself that, oh, I'm just an anxious person. Other people start to recognize that as well. They start to label you, oh, he's just shy, oh, he's just anxious, oh, he's just this, he's just that. You then start to believe it. You try therapy, you try journaling, you try all the ways you can do to get out of anxiety. It doesn't work, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So then you start to believe that that's just who you are. Do you know how detrimental it is to believe that that's just who you are? How can you, being an anxious person, be who you are? That's not who you are. You weren't born an anxious person. You aren't an anxious person. You experience feelings of anxiety. You can't get rid of them. You return to anxiety more than you do to confidence. Therefore, anxiety is your emotional home. You experience anxiety more than you do confidence. You start to believe that you're an anxious person. Imagine if you start to experience feelings of confidence more, wouldn't you just start to believe that you're a confident person? So how do we get you from anxious to confident? Well, we need to find out the beliefs that's driving your feelings of anxiety. So learn this. Your beliefs create your thoughts, create your feelings, create action. So what you deep down believe, you have a set of beliefs. Every human has a set of beliefs, and some beliefs you won't be aware of because they get triggered in certain times. Like if you enter a new relationship, you enter a new level in business, you enter a new environment, you quit a job, all these limiting beliefs will come to the surface that you don't realise you have, but you have a set of beliefs. So let's just take the belief, I'm not good enough. I spoke about this in the last video, you can go and watch that as well. You have a belief, I'm not good enough, right? That belief, when it gets triggered subconsciously, creates thoughts of, I can't do it, I'm not that person, I'll always be sad, it won't work for me, all of these negative thoughts. You repeat those negative thoughts. When you repeat those negative thoughts, you start to create feelings of anxiety, feelings of low mood, feelings of doubt. When you have a feeling of anxiety and doubt, you will do the very opposite thing of what a confident person would do, because you want to run away from the discomfort of that anxiety. So you will procrastinate, you will scroll, you will do what someone else tells you to do, you will chase for people's approval. because you want them to confirm that you are good enough to get rid of this feeling of not being enough. You learn that when you chase other people and you constantly ask for reassurance and you get that reassurance, it settles that anxiety down. But that only confirms and keeps you in the cycle of not feeling enough, right? So, and then when you experience that anxiety and that, and you put things off and you start to learn that that's just who you are. It's not who you are. You simply have a limiting belief. That is it. Like, that is it. Don't even overcomplicate it. You have a limiting belief that gets triggered. It creates this cycle. You repeat this cycle more often than not, and then you start to believe that that's who you are. Let's just say that you're a shy person and you experience feelings of shy, and you have beliefs around people don't listen to me when I speak up, or I'm not heard, I'm not listened to, I'm not important, no one really cares about me. You have those beliefs, they trigger thoughts of like, oh, there's no point in saying that, they won't listen to me. You're already predicting how other people will act through the lens of that belief, yeah? That's your story, okay? That creates feelings of doubt, low mood, of lack of confidence, whatever the feelings are that are associated for you with that. You then go inwardly. Your body language will go inwardly. You'll pull back. You won't speak up. You won't even open your mouth. And then that will drive you to take action of not speaking up and B, asking people about them and not talking about you. And then you stay shy. Other people label you as shy, and then you just start to believe, I'm just a shy person. No, you're not a shy person. You have adopted the behavior and identity of a shy person because you have a set of beliefs that's driving this cycle, and you are repeating the cycle on repeat. So my question to you is, what is the cycle that you are constantly repeating? People pleasing. You have a belief, I'm not liked, or whatever the belief is. Let's just use that one for an example. I'm not liked, or I'm not a nice person. Maybe deep down, without people pleasing, you genuinely believe that you're selfish or not a nice person. Okay, cool. So I'm not a nice person, I'm not liked, right? When that belief gets triggered, let's just say that you're working on your goals, you've got your boundaries in place, you're going after everything, and then the people pleasing part of you is like, oh my God, we're doing too much work on our own, we're getting too successful on our own, we've got our boundaries, we need to go and please everyone else. So what you'll do is you'll have that belief gets triggered subconsciously when you're not operating in alignment with that belief. So let's just say you're not being a people pleaser. The people pleasing part of you will bring you right back to where you belong, and you will enter the people pleasing cycle. So you'll have thoughts of like, oh, I really should do that for them. Your brain will trick you, and it'll be like, oh, it's a really nice thing to do for them. I'm just being a nice person. I need to make sure they're okay. You have those thoughts, you have those feelings of guilt, whatever the feelings are, and then you go and act as a people pleaser. Okay? Because when you people please, it confirms that you are liked. If you believed you were liked, if you believed you were a nice person, you wouldn't overly please other people, because that is an overcompensatory behavior for your belief that you aren't a nice person or that you aren't liked, yeah? So every behavior that you do that supports this belief, whether it be procrastination, people pleasing, overthinking, you are constantly keeping these beliefs in a loop. You're constantly reinforcing them. Again, like I said, if you chase avoidant people, it is constantly keeping you in a cycle of never feeling enough. If you constantly chase money, if you constantly chase this and this, because you feel like you genuinely need it to feel okay from within, to feel like, oh, I can breathe now, you are constantly reinforcing this story, and you're living a reality of not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not liked. I'm not this. I'm not that. Right? But it's unfamiliar to you to not act in that way. So that's what I want to go through today. So the first thing that I want you to notice is the labels have to go. You have to get rid of the labels. They have to go. Like, the fact that you genuinely believe that you are just that person, you were not fucking born that person. Something's happened in your childhood. You've taken a belief. People have identified that with you as well. You just start to believe it because you play the role of that. You play the role of victim, you play the role of people pleasing, you play the role of not being good enough, play the role of an anxious person. So of course you're going to believe that. Okay, so we want to get you back into security. We want to get you back into confidence. We want to get you back into self. So how does that start? Well, you remove the labels for a start. You just say, this is a part of me, it's not me. I have a people-pleasing part of me. I experience feelings of anxiety, therefore there's an anxious part of me. I experience feelings of low self-worth, therefore that's just a part of me, okay? So that's number one. Number two is you want to rewire those beliefs. Now, this is the reason why therapy doesn't work, and it doesn't work for everyone. And I mean, I haven't really met anyone where they've gone to therapy with the belief, I'm not good enough, and they've come out of therapy with the belief, I am good enough, unless you've had things like hypnosis, timeline therapy, and there's other types of therapy that you can do. So you need to break this belief at its core to fully break that cycle. And that cycle is what you live in, yeah? beliefs, thoughts, feelings, actions, right? You need to break the belief at its core. The reason why it doesn't work when you try and just stop people pleasing, you try and just stop being anxious, you try and just not worry. You know, people tell you, oh, don't worry about that. And you know, thank you. I haven't tried that one before. I'll just stop worrying. It doesn't work because you're simply working on the behaviour. You don't just want to work on the behaviour. You need to break that belief at the core that's driving the behaviour. So I've dropped a limiting belief breakthrough below. It's £33, and what you do is you go through it. It'll teach you how to uncover your beliefs. It will teach you the cycle that you're in, so you're aware of it, you're aware of the behaviours, and it'll break that belief through subconscious reprogramming, which is where you actually find out where the belief came from in the first place. And through deep subconscious work, you reframe the meaning of the event where you took on that belief, and therefore you have a breakthrough. I highly recommend it because the thing is with therapy, again, like I've said, you talk about the behaviour. You talk about the thoughts. Okay, cool. Part of you knows that you're good enough. Part of you knows that, you know, it was because of dad left and this happened when you were younger. Okay, cool. You know the reason why. But what's happened? Nothing. Nothing's changed. Because nothing will change until you change a root belief. So anyway, this guy comes in. Back to the story. This guy comes in and he was an anxious person. He changed the way he dressed. He changed the way that he did things in the relationship. He changed the way he ate. He did everything for this girl in accordance to her because he was trying to please her, and he was doing everything to be enough for her. Now, when you start doing things to be enough for someone else, it will never work. Because what is enough? Where do you define the line of right, I've changed my clothes, I've changed this, I've changed that, right, now I'm enough. It doesn't work because for as long as that belief is alive within you, nothing will ever feel enough because it's still there. Well, it's like, well, you're not enough. Well, you haven't done that now. And your mind will start to look for all the other ways of like why you're not enough. So you could have done 100 things to feel enough, and you will still find more evidence of why you're not enough because that belief still exists, and it's still a belief of I'm not enough. So you give it things and it's like, well, I still exist, I'm not enough. That's it. Give it things, I'm still here, I'm not enough. Yeah? These things don't suddenly go, right, you're enough now, turns that belief around to being enough. It doesn't work. That's why you'll see extremely wealthy people who are depressed, because it doesn't solve the internal belief that you're enough, right? So we went back to the root event of I'm not good enough when he was younger, and we totally reframed the meaning that he gave it, which is when he got bullied at school. And he, you know, part of his belief was I genuinely will never be happy. Imagine living with that belief, I'll never be happy. Do you know how detrimental that is? You could do anything, but you still genuinely believe I'll never be happy. And that's one of the beliefs that came with his belief of not good enough. So we absolutely destroyed that belief, completely gone. And he felt in the visualization that this shell of his old self was coming off him. And he was like, the anxious person is coming off me. And he literally felt it as like this shell that was literally just disappearing off him. And he went, and he said to me, he's like, I stepped forward into the most confident man I've ever experienced in my life. And that was it. Label completely gone because we shifted the route. And I know for a fact that he will never, ever, ever not think he is not good enough again. He bought new clothes. He's got back to the gym. He's got back to how he used to behave before. Now he's acting more in his masculine, and he stepped up into being a man. And it was one of the best sessions I've ever had. So I'm telling you now, go and do that belief breakthrough. Break the root of that identity that you're holding on to. Feel that literally taken away from you, and step into the most confident version that you know is who you're meant to be. That is who your future self is, right? So my question to you is, who is the most confident, powerful, effortless? I don't need to prove, I don't need to overcompensate, I don't need to try and beg you, I don't need to try and chase you, I don't need to try and prove to you. I just know I'm confident. I just know. I feel so secure with who I am, with who I genuinely, truly am. Who is that version of you? Write it down. Think about it. Visualize it. Who is that version of you? And in that visualization, there is a future self visualization as well, so you can actually see them. You want to tap into that version as many times as you can, and you want to start embodying it. But the more limiting beliefs that you have that pull you back into the old self, the harder it is to embody that, and the more effortful it is. Like, you see people who are chasing goals, chasing people, chasing this, chasing that, and you will continue to chase it for as long as you believe that to be true. Yeah? The minute you destroy that belief, you already step into that person who is. Imagine if I said to you tomorrow, you're going to wake up with a belief and you'll never look back. It'll never come back in. You'll genuinely believe tomorrow that you are genuinely good enough. What would be different? How would you act? How would you wake up in the morning? How excited would you be? How calm would you be? Who wouldn't be in your life anymore? What boundaries would you definitely not overstep? Just think about like the lack of self-respect that you've been carrying for yourself. Like what would even be like a non-negotiable anymore? What would be different? If you genuinely woke up tomorrow and believed you were good enough, of course I'm good enough to make this work. Are you mad? And it wasn't even like on the days when things go well, you're like, oh yeah, I'm good enough. And then on the days don't go well, I'm not good enough, and you get in a pity party. Imagine if you genuinely had that consistent belief that you were good enough, or that you were liked, or that you were worthy, or you deserved it. Oh my God, how much would you be able to fly? How much more effortless would things be able to be? What would be different for you? Think about it. If you genuinely, that one belief that's holding you back at the moment, if you genuinely believe that to be true tomorrow, the opposite, how different would things be for you? And that is what subconscious reprogramming does. It skips you straight to that version of yourself. So instead of hustling your way to prove that you're enough, to do all this work, to chase these people, to whatever, to feel enough, it takes you straight to the belief that you are enough. So you operate as that person that you're trying to chase right now. You're just trying to chase being that person. Yes, you want the things, but you want the feelings that come with it, the feelings of confidence, the feelings of significance, the feelings of value, praise, attention, love, support. Imagine if you just genuinely believed you were loved. What would be different for you? You'd already be that person. You'd already wake up. You'd have the set of beliefs that that person has. Therefore, you have the different thoughts that that person has. The feelings would be different, and you would act completely differently. Because you just have those beliefs of that person that you're trying to chase being that person now. It is just such a fast pass to becoming your higher self, 100%. Stop changing the behaviours, you need to change the beliefs, 100%. I've done it many, many times with athletes, with actors, with CEOs, with business owners, with corporate, you name it, I've done it, and I've seen it time and time and time again. And even things like when you change a belief, I'm not good enough, you go from wearing, like for example with women, like you go from wearing shit tons of makeup, like always posting your body, always posting this, or like trying to constantly gain validation to cover up for the fact that you genuinely believe that your true self is not attractive. You just genuinely believe that you're attractive, you believe that you're liked, you believe that you're enough. It's like, and then you just fall back into who you truly are, and the glow and the like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Like I've seen people go from having like constant injuries, constant this, to being completely healed, like eating disorders to not, like depression. Like if you're depressed and you don't believe you deserve to be happy, then antidepressants aren't going to fix that belief that you don't deserve to be happy. I've taken people who've been on antidepressants for 12 years into none because we've shifted the beliefs. I'm so passionate about this because it fucking works. It's unbelievable. You need to start working on your beliefs. Every time those thoughts come in, question them, where they're coming from. Is this my belief? Whose belief is it? Who gave me this belief? Do I want to actually sit in the identity and identify with this belief today? No, if not, what can I do? How can I shift my state? You don't just want to shift the behaviour. If you don't believe you're good enough and you're trying to do a new behaviour, like you're trying to do a task for a launch for your business, and you're sitting in that belief of not being good enough and self-doubt, and the task that you are trying to do is associated with the version of you who is enough, but you're sitting in I'm not enough and self-doubt, the difference is unbelievable. But if you can shift your state into confidence, calm, relax, like clarity, energy, whatever your higher self is, and you take action from that state, which again, you change your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, aka your state, you take action from that state, how much more powerful are you going to be? How much easier is things going to flow? You'll remove all the blocks, like even things with the belief I'm not smart enough. You believe that you're not smart enough, right? Okay, cool. So when you're trying to film a piece of content, when you're trying to speak up in a meeting, when you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do, you can't do it because the mind blank comes in, the stuttering comes in, the blocks, the brain fog, and you blame it on something like ADHD or this and that. It's because you believe you're not smart enough. So if you say what you want to say and you share what you want and you speak with confidence and you get it wrong, that will just confirm this belief that you're not smart enough. So the mind blank comes in to literally protect you from saying what you want to say, because your subconscious mind doesn't want to get it wrong, because it wants to protect you from the very judgment that you received when you were younger, when someone told you that you weren't smart enough or you couldn't do it. And you're just living in the past. So you're trying to become the most secure version while you've got all these beliefs. I'm going to leave it there. I just want you to have use the word wonder. Have you ever wondered what it could truly feel like today to step into the most confident version of myself? And what would that look like? Who would I be? What would be different? And what do I need to do in order to get into that? Do I need to go look at my testimonials? Do I need to actually reflect more often? give myself more validation, more praise. Your higher self is like gassed over themselves, like they're praising themselves, they're always validating themselves, they don't need validation from others, they just know they're good enough, they know they're good at what they do. So what sort of things can you do to get into that? Can you go and do future self visualization? Can you go and do the belief breakthrough? Can you go and stop getting reassurance off other people and start reassuring yourself? Can you learn to trust yourself? Go and watch a trust in yourself video that I've done. There's actually a visualization in that video. What can you do to get into them? Can you move your body? Are you sitting down at your desk all day like this, like, oh my God, I'm in such a low mood, I'm trying to do work? Can you shift your state, literally? Can you do something that's going to break you through that state, those thoughts? Okay? And I'll see you in the next video.